Hey, what's up everyone? I'm the Gerbil, and in today's video we're talking about Princess Nisa, which is something I've been waiting to talk about for quite a while. So Nisa came to the tables on July 12th, at least that's when she was announced, and I expect her to be added to the weekly shipments this week. We'll see, but I really hope it happens this week so that I can start to 7-star her as soon as possible to get that Relic 7 to start getting some real testing and playback video, because I think that she brings a lot to the table, especially for territory wars, if you are into territory wars. So who is Nisa? Well, let's talk a little bit about who she is, why she matters, where she comes from a little bit. Then I'm going to get into the kit, and I'm not just going to do like a kit discussion, like a kit reveal overview. What I want to do is talk about how she synergizes with each of the different Ewoks, because a lot of people have been asking me already, who comes out of the squad, right? Do you take out Endor? Do you take out Logray? Do you take out Wicket? Well, I'm gonna actually break down who she synergizes with the most, and then I want to talk about a little bit about team compositions and modding, how you probably want to mod her, and then I have a prediction of a Datacron in the next Conquest that is going to, I think, be really, really good for her. So I don't know, we'll find out. Here we go. Let's get started, shall we? So first off, Princess Nisa. We got this cute graphic. I think that the 2D art people are always a little bit better than their 3D modeling. I really, really like her kit overall. The basic, as most people are going to point out, is really slow. It's like even at the 4x speed, it's slow, which makes me wonder if she has been deliberately designed as a timeout defensive character, and that's actually what I'm going to suggest for territory wars, putting her on defense, and I'll explain that as we go. Before we get into anything though, let's look at a little bit of gameplay. So here we are against Jedi Knight Luke with Hermit Yoda, Grandmaster Yoda, Kenobi, and Bastila. I know this is not an ideal comp, but I only have a 5-star Nisa gear 11, right? I mean, she's got like 19,000 health, right? It's like a one hit and done if she loses her protection. So they also have a Datacron. I do not. So of course it is not a fair competition, even if that is not an ideal lineup on the opposing side. So there are a few things, like if you're going against Kenobi, you want to open up by attacking Kenobi first so that you don't trigger his taunt, so that you can try something like that. And you can see in one play, I almost killed Yoda. Now, if Nisa had been Relic anything, especially Relic 7, we would have killed Yoda on that opening salvo. So that's really good. Nisa inherently seems to have really, really low potency, and so when we get to modding, I'm going to talk more about that, because you can see that every time she attacks out of turn, she should be landing damage over times. Like so when we did when Wicket did his little AoE and she assisted, she should have attacked 3 times, and those 3 hits all should have landed damage over time. So there should have been 3 stacks. Kenobi should be already looking at like 8, 9, 10 stacks, and they're just not happening. So potency appears to be really, really important for her. I'm also wondering, to be honest, if the kit is moderately bugged. I have been playtesting a lot. Again, only 5 stars, but she rarely, and I do mean rarely, lands the potency, the the damage over times. You can see how this is a grindy battle, and that is of course because Kenobi is thick, and Bastila there is doing some stuff to keep them alive, and Hermit Yoda is healing. So I think this is a fair test. We are going to lose this battle, which I think should be expected, considering again they got a Datacron, they've got all relics. That's a legendary Luke, a legendary Kenobi. I think Hermit Yoda is a legendary character, right? I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I mean, he's in the Git store, right? So Grandmaster Yoda is a legendary character, journey guide character. So like none of the Ewoks are, right? So I mean, when you're taking like 5 basically marquee characters up against 4 journey guide characters, you should expect to lose, right? So I think it's a fair comparison. I've done this particular battle here 4 or 5 times, and I have yet to beat it. I have been able to get Jedi Knight Luke down to himself, just by himself, but until we get, a 7-star Relic Nisa, it's not really fair. So let's just go ahead and move on. Like I said, we're going to lose this one. Now, this next one we do not lose. We're going to take on, who is that? Darth Vader, Darth Revan, Bastila Fallen, Tarkin, and Thrawn. And you can see here we're getting those damage over times, so that's good. Of course, Sith and Darkseid tend to have a little bit lower tenacity, especially than Kenobi does. So we are landing those, and a cool thing about it is you don't, if you get these characters down into the low yellow, maybe red, you don't have to finish them off. You can let that damage over time do it. So you see like Thrawn's got 5 stacks, so he's gonna fall down on his own. The other thing here is you may notice I've taken out Wicket and I've taken out Logray, and instead I'm keeping Ewok Elder, even though CG says to maybe want to remove Elder. I think that's a big mistake. Elder needs to stay there. But I've also put in C-3PO. Why? C-3PO removes some turn meter. He puts the stacks of Confuse on the enemies so they can't gain buffs, reduces their cooldowns eventually, also puts the translation on your own Ewoks so they become beefier, I think up to 30% more health, which is really important for Ewoks. Also, he lowers their cooldowns, and then he's putting the Expose. So every time an Ewok uses their basic, they should be landing exposed. So now here's the thing with Nisa. If she's triple tapping, the first one is going to land exposed. The second one is going to trigger the expose, doing 20% health damage to them. The third one will reapply expose so that the next Ewok who attacks triggers that expose again. So your damage output with C-3PO is going to increase substantially. Unfortunately, can't call assist against Darth Revan, which negates our damage over time features and most of Ewok synergies, but clearly we got this win in the bag with a Gear 5, well, 5-star Gear 11 Nisa. So C-3PO makes a big difference. All right, now real quick, who is Nisa? We're just gonna get through this real fast. So my first experience with Nisa, I bought this ATST statue, and it has a little Nisa at the top of it stabbing it with a knife, and that was my first time I ever saw Nisa. Didn't think much about it until CG brought it to us, so I googled it, and it turns out Nisa has actually been around a while. There are Nisa action figures, Nisa plush toys. Nisa's been there for a while, in fact a lot longer than most of us realize, because of how Lucasfilms seems to go back and retcon or modify history a little bit. If you really want to know more about Nisa, check out Star Wars Explained. And there's a link right there. This guy's going to tell you everything you need to know. I'm not going to play it because it's his video. I want you to go check it out. Nisa, though, is the daughter of Chief Chirpa, fought at the Battle of Endor, befriended, and fought with Rebel Pathfinder Dameron. If you're not familiar, that is Poe Dameron's dad. They actually bonded really, really well. She became the first female chief of their village, and she also befriended Hera and Chopper. Chopper snuck her aboard the Ghost when they got ambushed by some Imperials. Nisa then, similar to Wicket, jumping on a speeder bike and figuring out how to drive it. Nisa jumped into a turret control and operated the blasters to help defend them against TIE fighters, showing how Ewoks are remarkably adept at adapting and capable of learning very, very quickly. Beyond that, though, her first official appearance was in a 1984 book called Ewoks Save the Trees. I know it's a remarkable title, right? But she did has been retconned so that the Ewoks cartoon, there's a character that's with Wicket a lot, looks a lot like her, and Lucasfilm has said, in fact, that is indeed Nisa. So she goes all the way back to cartoons, and if you doubt the pronunciation of the name, go back and watch the cartoons. They are on Disney+. But let's move on, shall we? So why did we get her? Obviously, she is a Relic 7 requirement for Leia Organa. Not Leia Organa, Galactic Legend Leia. It is Leia Organa, isn't it? This graphic comes to us from Arnold T101. There's a link there to his video. You should go check it out if you're curious. So we got the first 5 requirements. Notably, 2 of them are Ewoks. Now, I speculated a year ago that an Endor Leia Galactic Legend may have Ewok synergies. I'm going to double down on that and say that that's very likely, given that 40% or 2 of the first 5 characters we have are Ewoks. I actually think we will get another marquee Ewok, and I would not be surprised if, similar to C-3PO, she's going to have dual synergies with Rebels and Ewoks. And in fact, I would not be surprised if her ideal team turns out to be 3 Ewoks, the new Drogon character that was announced, and herself. That just makes a lot of sense since this is an Endor, appears to be Endor Leia, who, her big call to fame on Endor was the recruiting of the Ewoks and saving her friends from being potentially eaten. Yes, of course, Luke probably could have broke them all free, but he didn't want to murder a whole bunch of murder bears. So go figure, right? Just while we're on the topic, who else is coming? The thing about Leia is it's really, really hard to nail down who could be coming because she was everywhere. The recent Afra, I think, is absolutely a possibility. If you read the Afra comics, you'll know that Leia was in and out of those comics right and left. Sana Starros claimed to be her husband's wife, so I think there's an opportunity there. And of course, Mara Jade was her brother's wife, though I don't know if that's canon or not. If I were to put just some money down or a small guess, I think that the ship we're going to need will be Emperor Shuttle because they did take an Imperial Shuttle down to Endor. I think we'll get a marquee Ewok, or not Ewok, yeah, possibly an Ewok, even though I don't have it in the graphic. I think we'll get a marquee Scout Trooper. We know from the data mines 2 more marquees are coming in addition to the Drogon character, if I'm saying his name right. I think Jyn is a high possibility because she was at Scarif and was the one who retrieved the Death Star plans, which of course is how we start with A New Hope, which leads us up to the Battle of Endor to destroy the Death Star once again. Just kind of makes sense. Other than that, I kind of got the original New Hope people in there: Farm Boy Luke, Stormtrooper Han, Old Ben, R2. I could be wrong, totally could be wrong. It's all just speculation, folks, but we'll find out. Hopefully this week we'll get the next 5. All right, let's get into that kit, shall we? So the basic, deal physical damage to target enemy for each critical hit. Now I marked that in blue, turquoise, whatever, because that's important. That's like the synergy with the team here. For each critical hit, Nisa attacks again, maximum twice. When she attacks this way, she's immune to turn meter gains. That's because Chirpa's bonus, his leadership bonus, whenever an Ewok uses their basic, they gain 20% turn meter. If that didn't apply, she'd gain 60%, and it would just be a little bit broken. I mean, she would be like literally just turn after turn after turn after turn. So it only applies once, gain 20% turn meter, which uses her basic under Chirpa. Now the critical hit is important because Wicket shares critical chance up. So if Wicket is called to assist, and she can call him to assist, she gains the critical chance up, enabling her to get more critical hits. So there is a direct synergy right there with Wicket. Now, the first special dispels all debuffs on all allies, which is the same thing that Ewok Elder does, except hers only affects Ewok allies. She will not dispel C-3PO, for example. She also would not dispel GL Leia, which makes me wonder if indeed she's supposed to be with GL Leia. However, Ewok Elders does dispel all allies, regardless of what faction they are. Then Nisa calls target Ewok ally to assist, dealing physical damage, and inflicts speed down. Now, I've underlined that in red because that's a potency. We need potency right there. Inflicting speed down is really important. Ewoks tend to get out ahead of most teams, and they have their own little bit of turn meter train. It will stall out after a number of turns, but they definitely get this speed advantage in the start. So if she's able to inflict speed down on somebody, it really helps maintain their momentum. Then all Ewoks gain critical chance up, which goes back to her basic. In this situation now, we do not need Wicket on the team for 2 turns and recovered 10% health. So it's a small passive healing ability. 10% health is not bad, but note it's not protection. Ewoks are going to want health mods, not protection. Please don't put protection primaries on your Ewoks, folks. So yep, she's going to heal health, which is the same thing that Logray does, and again, Ewok Elder. So we've got some overlapping synergies. Okay. Next, her second special with a cooldown of 4, deal physical damage to all enemies. So we got an AoE, which is always nice. Stun target enemy. Once again, she needs potency for that. For 1 turn, and remove 100% of their turn meter. Now that's nice. So let's say you hit somebody like 90% turn meter. You strip that off, they basically lose a turn. They reaccumulate their turn meter, but they're stunned, it goes away again. So they basically are going to lose 2 turns, which again helps maintain that momentum. So you speed down somebody, and then you strip 2 turns away from the next character, right? So that's actually really, really nice. Again, she's going to need potency. And we can see here that we have a lot of healing on the team, right? Her heal, Logray can heal, Ewok Elder obviously heals, and Wicket actually heals, and he can actually heal quite a lot. Now, that's all well and good, but the book really is all in her unique. I don't know why they didn't break this down to a couple of smaller uniques. That would have been really, really helpful. But let's check this out, okay? I'm going to try to make this as painless as possible because it's long, but let's look at it. So, Nisa. Nisa has 20% critical chance. That's another reason why she doesn't really need crit chance mods, and you don't really need Wicket to give her that critical chance. So it's baked in her kit. She has plus 50% defense and max health. Again, health, not potency, or protection, sorry. You don't want to mod her for protection. You want to maximize that health so that she gains that benefit. And she has plus 40% tenacity, which is really, really nice. Other Ewoks gain 15% defense and 20% max health and potency. That's huge. That 20% max health in particular is going to synergize directly with Chirpa, Ewok Elder, and Paploo. So I've kind of color coded these if you want to like follow along. That max health is going to make Paploo a lot more beefy. Paploo is going to also inflict speed down, so that's going to help him with the extra potency. And then of course Ewok Elder and Chief Chirpa both have healing abilities that are based on their health. So the more health Chirpa has, the more health Ewok Elder has, the more effective those two units are going to be. So we've got some direct synergies immediately with Chirpa, Elder, and Paploo as the main three. All right, next line. Whenever an Ewok attacks out of turn, okay, so this is calling assist or retribution or whatever, inflicted stack of damage over time for 1 turn. Whenever an Ewok ally attacks out of turn, they deal true damage. Now, true damage just means you're ignoring defense. So that's good because the Ewoks, they don't really hit hard except for Wicket. But if you're ignoring armor, everybody's going to do more damage, but that also means that your attackers, Wicket and Scout, are going to do the most damage. But the attack out of turn and the damage over time, I think is going to be way, way more important with this composition using Nisa. And that attack out of turn is going to really, really, really be most effective under Chirpa, who has a massed assist where everybody swarm attacks, under Wicket, who calls a targeted assist, and Paploo, who can call a targeted assist. Those two are going to be really important in this line of her kit, but we'll get back to teams in a second. Next line says whenever an Ewok ally uses a special ability, she's going to assist. It's great. Hopefully triple tap. Hopefully 3 damage over time stacks. Whenever an enemy attacks an ally, not herself, but let's say Paploo, who's taunting, Nisa will gain retribution for 1 turn, 5% turn meter, and all Ewoks are going to recover 5% health. Once again, do not put protection primaries on your Ewoks. This is another shout out to health. I mean, health appears in her kit like 12 times. Health is really, really important. Whenever an Ewok ally is dazed or stunned, so in this situation, think Jedi Knight Luke, think oh man, I've just lost track of it. But anybody who does a mass daze or a mass stun is going to make your Ewoks so strong because it applies foresight to everyone. So basically, you can't hit them for 1 turn, and then it gives them 100% protection up, which protection up is based on health. So the more health they have, the more protection they're going to gain for 2 turns. So again, more health. And all Ewoks are going to gain 50% stacking defense. Think Paploo right there, right? Paploo, 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 Paploo. So more health, more defense. That's Chirpa, that's Paploo, and that's actually Teebo, believe it or not. He's a tank. But then it says whenever an Ewok ally is critically hit, they gain 5% offense. That's really not going to make any difference except for your attackers, and you don't want them getting hit anyway, so I think that this line, while it might look good, it's actually kind of irrelevant. Now this brings us to the Omicron, which I applied like that, just instant. I was like, yep, I'm getting that one. So, and I'm going to be putting my Ewoks on defense and territory wars for a while. We'll see how this goes, but I think this is going to be a stall out team, and here's why. It says Nisa has 95% critical chance. Cool, so she's going to be triple tacking every time. 25% critical damage. She doesn't hit hard anyway. 10% max health again, and 10 speed for each other Ewok ally, so hopefully plus 40 speed to start. And is immune to daze and stun, which kind of negates the line above, which is a bummer. At the start of the battle, though, she gains critical chance up as if she needed it. and critical damage up. Doesn't really matter again for her, but she gains 100% turn meter, and allied Ewoks gain 10% offense. Now that's not great, but it helps. It helps. The 100% turn meter is important because it means that she can immediately strip off somebody's turn meter and stun them before they get a turn. You can think like Han Solo. Han shoots first and stuns. That's what she's going to do, except she's also going to take away their turn meter if they have it. I don't know if they have it yet. Well, I don't know how that's going to work, but we'll see. But then it goes on. There are 4 more abilities here. And real quick, that 10% offense, that's going to mostly benefit your attackers. All right, now the last 4 lines, they're short here. Whenever an Ewok ally gains a buff, and they all gain buffs, Nisa is going to recover 10% health and protection. This is like the only time protection is really called out, other than the protection up, which is based on health. Whenever an Ewok is inflicted with a debuff, you can think dark side, damage over time, Darth Vader, whatever. They recover 10% health, and they're going to gain 5% turn meter. So this is going to be really, really, really helpful in survivability. You don't want to be stunning them, you don't want to be dazing them, and you don't want to debuff the crap out of them because you're just going to heal them all up. And then, of course, Nisa or Elder can just cleanse the whole team, right? So you got to watch the turn order if you're attacking them. Next, it says whenever an Ewok ally assists, reduce the target enemy's critical damage by 5%, stacking for 3 turns. I wish that was perma-stack. That would be a lot more effective. 3 turns is good, but it's going to take a long time for them to build up. Of course, they're going to be assisting so much that will add up a bit. But what's important, excuse me, what's really important here, it says that whenever Nisa attacks, reduce her cooldowns by 1. So her cooldowns are 3 and 4 on her specials. She triple attacks on her basic, which means anytime an Ewok ally uses a special, she's going to be resetting her first special by attacking 3 times. Excuse me. And that's huge. That means in Territory Wars, under the Omicron, she will totally be spamming her specials. Yeah, so spamming her specials, that is going to allow her to basically every time it's her turn to stun and remove turn meter from someone, and that's just going to be really, really, really impressive. So there's a lot of synergies in these 4 lines. So what are your team compositions? Like everyone's asking this one. So in Territory Wars or in GAC defense, I'm going to be looking for durability. Chirpa, Elder, Logray, Paploo, and Nisa. So Elder's going to be healing and reviving. Chirpa's going to be healing. Paploo's going to be healing himself up nonstop. Logray's going to be putting foresight on the team. And of course, Nisa brings to the table more health for everybody, reduces enemy crit damage, spams her own specials and Territory Wards, and provides even more durability. And she's slow in the sense that her animation happens slowly and happens 3 times every time she assists. So timeout is a real potential here. If you don't go in with somebody who can shut down their assisting or whatever, like a Darth Revan or a GL, timeout I think becomes a real concern for a lot of squads here. Now in GAC and offense, I think there are 2 teams I'm looking at. The first one is Chirpa, Elder, Wicket, Paploo, and Nisa. I took out Logray here, even though he has a mass daze and he provides foresight and some turn meter. I think that what you really need is even more offensive power. Wicket with his targeted assist, his AoE is going to push turn meter to the team. You need to get out ahead of the enemy, so Paploo is probably going to go first. You call Chirpa, who does the mass swarm assist. Everybody else should be at 100% turn meter at that point. Then you get Wicket, who either does the assist and you finish somebody off. I mean, who knows? In GAC, don't forget, with the Omicron, you gain 30 more speed on everybody, 40% more damage. That's really important. And then Nisa gave I don't remember if it was in the Omicron. I think it was. Yeah, it was in the Omicron. Never mind. So you're getting a 40% more damage. And then, of course, you get a 100% assist chance on all specials, which means you're going to get 2 assists guaranteed, which is 2 damage over times. Because Nisa will assist on every special, plus Chirpa's calling another special guaranteed. So the Omicron is going to stack those damage over times a lot. 2 every single turn guaranteed, as long as your potency's up there, right? And then another alternative one that I've been playing with, but I just don't know yet, would be Teebo, Wicket, Scout, and Nisa, or take out Scout probably and put in C3PO. Why? Because Nisa removes 100% turn meter on her special. Teebo removes 100% turn meter on his basic. C-3PO is going to apply Confuse, so they can't gain bonus turn meter. They can't gain buffs. His basic removes turn meter. He's got a mass assist. Chirpa's got a mass assist. Teebo's going to give the whole team turn meter. Wicket's going to give the whole team turn meter. I think there's a lot of opportunity there, but sincerely, who has high relic, Scout, or Teebo? Me. Anyway, so modding. Do not put crit chance mods on her. Don't do it. She don't need it. She does not need it. She has extra critical chance baked in her kit. She's got critical chance up in her kit. Wicket gives critical chance up on her kit. And honestly, the critical hits isn't what's important. It's her specials. Okay? So don't do it. You don't need critical chance. So on the left here, we can see these are the Relic 7 base stats. So this is before you mod her. Her speed is 178, which is pretty good. Her health is 43 versus 57 protection. But remember, everything in Ewok Elder and Chirpa's kit and her own kit and Logray's kit and Wicket's kit all point to health, so you want health primaries. Do not mod her for protection. So that means like a health circle, and it's debatable if you want to put a health cross or triangle, but I probably wouldn't. But keep the health at least on the bottom left mod, whichever one that is. Next up, we've got potency. It is low, and she needs a lot of potency. She stuns, she inflicts speed down, she puts the damage over times on people, so you want potency, tons of potency. Then her speed is 178. Realistically, I would try to aim for 325 for her. Then Chirpa's Omicron would give her an additional 30, putting her at 365, so she's going to get out in front of people in GAC. Or conversely, in Territory Wars, she'll have 100% starting turn meter, so you don't need it as much if you're only going to use her there. But in GAC, you're going to want as much speed as possible on her and potency. Finally, though, her crit chance, like I said, you don't want primaries, but secondaries would be good. Aim for 100% just to be on the safe side, but I really don't think you need it. I mean, 78% is already good to start. You know, if you push that up to 90, only a 12% crit chance, that's realistic. That's super easy. I think you'd be very, very happy with that. So ultimately, how do I think I'm going to mod her? And this is a prediction. I think I'm going to go like this. Speed or offense on the arrow, offense or crit damage on the triangle, offense, probably potency though on the cross, and then health for sure on the circle. Now, alternatively, you could take off the crit damage and put in offense just to, I mean, I don't know if it's going to make a difference because she doesn't hit very hard, but I think for a lot of people also, you may want to consider 3 potency sets to make sure you land those debuffs and the damage over time, which I think is going to be the most important thing for her. So, okay, final thing, some thought on upcoming Conquest. So you know the Lord Vadercron, whenever Darkside ally inflicts damage over time on an enemy, they gain 5% stacking protection up. Yeah, imagine that in GAC if it's light side, right? Every time you use a special, she assists 3 times, there's 15% stacking protection, and then somebody else assists protection. And then like Chirpa, mass assist, everybody gains 5%, and then she gains 15%. C-3PO, everybody gains 5 more percent, and she gains another 15%. I mean, that could really, 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 really become annoying very, very, very quick, right? Whenever an Ewok ally attacks out of turn, inflict a stack of damage over time. Chirpa also puts retribution, so they're going to be retributing. I don't know if that's a word. And then, of course, she's going to heal people, right? So, yeah. I'm not sure what the ideal team is yet. We'll find out when I gear her up. But if we get this, and I'm hoping, and I bet we will, in the next Conquest in 2 more months, keep her in mind. All right, folks, I hope this was helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. It was really long. Sorry for that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know if you disagree with anything. I'd love to hear from you, and I will catch you all later on the holotables. Take care. Bye-bye.